All right, well, my name's Kuckein. I'm the Senior Director of Marketing here at DDN, and today I'm going to be talking about our A3i platforms, which are our platforms for any scale AI. And these are basically rack-level solutions that we've partnered with server partners like NVIDIA and HPE to design solutions that make AI a lot easier to implement, a lot faster to run, and we take a unique approach to solving the AI I/O problem relative to other vendors on the market, and I'll get into what our differentiation is there. A3i is based on two platforms within our product line. We have on the right here the all NVMe AI 200, so designed for all-out performance in the smallest form factor. Again, comes fully configured with the servers, with networking in a rack, wheel it into the data center, makes it very easy to deploy. We also have our AI 7990 hybrid storage system, so a mix of flash for that hot data set that's being used for training or inference, but now also in a scale-up package so that you can also, internal to the same system, have spinning media for the larger data lake of information that you need to have referenceable over time. And that's one place where DDN is unique in that we are focused not just on training and inference, but the entire life cycle of data within the AI life cycle. So things like initial acquisition, right? Bringing a vehicle or bringing sensor data from multiple sensors into a single box, keeping the data resident there, being able to elevate it into cache, have it be high performance into the GPU-based system, but also make that data accessible to other people who are working on that system, maybe the folks who are doing the preparation of the data and maybe using NFS to access this from a CPU-based system. So we aren't just focused on the training and inference piece, but we do know that that piece is probably the most challenging part of the I/O work that we're doing there. So what we've done, as I mentioned at the top, is a really simple, fully packaged solution. So this includes your DGX1 or your Apollo 6500, your networking, as well as your DDN storage system. And so the other benefit of these prepackaged solutions is we've fully qualified these, and not just in terms of interoperability, but we've also done extensive testing on them. And so people can really understand the scalability of the solution and how it's going to fit their environment and their storage needs relative to their I/O needs as well. So we came up with multiple architectures based on the number of servers that you have, and you can then get information on the relative performance of the storage system with that number of GPUs. And that's another place where DDN really differentiates, right? Plenty of fast storage vendors out there are great and can show you great numbers when they've got a single DGX1, right, with 8 GPUs in it, or even 4 DGX1s. But what happens when you're addressing the storage system from something like a 9 DGX pod, right? The scalability of a solution like NFS is not going to be able to match the requirements for a really scalable GPU cluster. So that's where our uniqueness comes in that we can provide linear performance to the GPU servers directly. No matter how many GPUs you're adding to the server, we can scale with that. So here you're getting the idea of the individual IOPS and throughput that we can deliver to each GPU, both the IOPS on one side and throughput performance on the other. With each single system, either the AI 200 or the 7990, they basically have similar performance characteristics. You're going to be getting around 23 gigabytes per second and 400K IOPS out of those boxes. Now, where the scalability comes in is as you add GPUs. And what you can see here, right, is basically the performance scales linearly as you add more GPU systems, and we aren't even stressing out the system as we get up to an 8 GPU characteristic with things like GoogleNet, ResNet. So these are examples of the frameworks that we've been using to qualify these sizes. So all the common frameworks that are being used in AI today, we're running those on those systems. We've got a whole team of folks who are experts on these types of frameworks, and so really being able to tune our file system solutions to be able to meet the needs of these AI frameworks to deliver the ultimate performance, not just out of the storage box, but all the way to the application. And that, in the end, is the most important part, is delivering performance to the application, right? It doesn't matter how fast the storage box can go in a benchmark situation if it isn't really accelerating your applications. And so by being able to directly drive data all the way into the GPUs in a scalable manner, right? And this is where you really, the differentiation becomes apparent, right? In that the scalability of NFS, as you're looking at smaller GPU sizes, again, not a problem, right? But as you get into the range where a lot of our customers play in the supercomputing world, where they're not limited to 8 or 16 or 32 GPUs, but we're now talking about instances of 64, 128. Right? We will continue to scale in a single namespace, and we'll also be able to provide the scalable capacity on the back end to really be able to drive that performance. And so providing insight at a deeper level without a lot of the data movement that you might need to do, without a lot of the scalability limitations that you find with other solutions. So examples of some of the areas that we're working with customers on. Autonomous vehicles. So DDN drives one of the largest autonomous vehicle companies that we're working with to help them not just with training and simulation, but also on the data gathering side, right? What's important here is you want to keep the cars active on the road as much as possible, right? I was just reading today about the fact that Waymo has already gotten 10 million miles on their cars, and GM and others are still stuck at around 1 million. And so having the vehicles on the road as much as possible is key. So getting that vehicle in and being able to use a high bandwidth throughput to be able to get the data off, that's just as important as also the training and simulation later. With life sciences, right, what we're looking to do is really cut the time between data acquisition and either diagnostics, right? If the MRI machine itself can use machine learning to aid the doctor in making an accurate diagnosis, that's going to be huge in revolutionizing how healthcare is going to be provided, right? Drug discovery, again, cutting down that time, right? The biggest issue in drug discovery is often the time that it takes to discover something new, right? And so if each step can be accelerated 10x, 30x, 100x by using GPUs with DDN storage, that's going to revolutionize what we're doing. Similarly, smart manufacturing, right? Finite element analysis, being able to detect anomalies within the manufacturing process and correct for those with fewer false positives, saves money, saves time. And financial services. So we cover a number of areas in financial services with our customers, whether it's in analytics, right? Working with our financial services customers who are doing market prediction, banking, so looking at credit worthiness. All of these companies now need to know credit worthiness basically on demand, whereas it used to be a turnaround of hours. We're looking to provide this instantaneously. And then security, risk management, fraud detection, and things like that need to happen in real time. It can't be happening after the fact. And then in retail, advertising, and entertainment, one of our interesting customers right now is an autonomous retail customer. You've heard about probably the Amazon stores. There's a similar model where customer walks in, doesn't ever interact with any human, grabs something off the shelf, and just walks out and automatically charge. So that greatly speeds up the entire process, and they're looking at rolling out these to huge markets. And so in this case, each camera within the store is basically a GPU. And so you need to be able to have both a lightweight storage infrastructure within the store itself that's fast enough to be able to process all that information in real time, right? As soon as they pick a cornflakes box off the shelf, it needs to be able to identify that's cornflakes, and that's going to Kurt because he just grabbed it, and here's his credit card number in real time. But then also, what we're seeing often is this hub and spoke model, right? So that's the storage at the edge, but then you need to also be able to have storage portability to be able to bring that back into a centralized storage system that then you use for inference, simulation to make the work of the edge even faster and better and more accurate, right? You'll gather information from thousands of stores. That's going to help your information be better going on. So you can see that A3i solutions apply to all markets and all areas, and hopefully you picked out something interesting in your own space here in my presentation today. So thank you.